Alright, I decided that I'm just gonna do one more chapter for this upload, and then that's gonna be it for the day. For not for recording, but for the upload that I'm gonna do for Friday, because I already recorded my upload for today. Anyway, so I'm gonna do the next chapter. Chapter 29, Date Night. You know what, Em? If this is what all housewives do, I think I'd be good at it. Fiona said into her phone as she put the dishes away. Fiona, I'm sure that housewives don't have to cater to their guy's hand and foot because they're sick, the redhead said with a laugh. I know, but I mean, everything is just so easy, you know? The blonde said, walking into the laundry room and grabbing a freshly dried blanket from the dryer, and made her way to the living room, covering Marshall with it before making her way upstairs. It's because you love him. No sane person would take the time to take care of somebody unless they either love them or they were being paid for it. Well, I definitely do love him, Fiona said, picking up the clothes on the floor and tossing them into the laundry basket. Well, speaking of our dear Marshall, how's he been? I haven't heard from you guys since Disney night. Disney night. Aside from being dead tired, he's fine. It's the exhaustion that's killing him. All he does is sleep. Then he's up and totally wired later on for a few hours. It's like he never slept. Is it okay if Finn and I come down to visit? Maybe we could all go out for dinner. Heck yes, you can come down. I'll see how Marsh feels about dinner. Awesome. I'll see you two in a few hours. See you soon, Fiona chirped, hanging up the phone and pocketing it as she began making the bed. It was 4 in the afternoon, and Fiona knew that it was around this time that Marshall usually woke up from his nap. It had only been 2 weeks, but she already had a schedule down. They would be up at 8 or 9, have breakfast and hang out. Around 12, Marcia would start to get tired and knock out around 12:30 or 1 and be up around 4. Then they would grab something to eat, watch movies, play some music, sing and goof off, and around 10:30 to 11 o'clock, she would get tired and they'd go to sleep, and then Marshall would be up strumming his guitar around 2 in the morning, trying to keep quiet to not wake her up, and fall back asleep around 4, only to start all over again in the morning. Just as she finished making the bed and putting the pillows back, the blonde was wrapped in the warm arms and warm blanket, smelling distinctly of Marshall. Have I ever mentioned how flippin' awesome you are? He asked, still holding Fiona as he flopped on the bed, rolling over and trapping her in the blanket with him. It wouldn't hurt to mention it a bit more often, she said with a smirk. Ember and Finn are going to drop by. They want to know if you're okay to go out for dinner and hang out time later. Hearing this, Marshall grinned. I am so up for that. I've been going stir crazy being all tired and crap. Fiona couldn't help but laugh. Good, they'll be so excited. So how did you sleep? Good, I'm feeling really good. I mean, I get the next round tomorrow, so it kind of seems like once I get better, they're just gonna make me sick. They're just gonna make me sick as all hell again. So as long as I'm feeling good today, I think I can deal with it. Now, for a change of pace, how about I make us lunch? Marshall asked, still keeping Fiona wrapped in the blanket prison with him. Grilled cheese would be mathematical. White cheddar and mozzarella? Cheddar, mozzarella, and provolone. I ran to the store while you were out. Glob, Fiona, I should marry you, he said with a smirk. Together forever? Don't tempt me into saying yes, Fiona said with a cheeky smirk. Now go make me a sandwich. Hearing this, Marshall laughed and pulled her close for a kiss. I don't think forever would be enough time with you anyways. Lunch will be ready in 5, madame, Marshall said, releasing himself from the warmth of the blankets and heading downstairs. Pulling out her phone, Fiona sent Ember a quick text before heading down after Marshall. It had been more than a month and a half, and honestly, Ember thought something was wrong with her. Finn made her feel all goopy and soft and happy and stuff. It wasn't like anything at all that she'd experienced before in her dating life ever. It's not like Finn was her first boyfriend. He was the 6th, if one could count the 3 mini relationships she had in high school before she left on her ambassador's trip to Scotland. Then again, she didn't even kiss any of those 3, so did they count? Maybe. Ember shook her head as she towel-dried her hair. It had begun to grow back out once again, and this time she decided she was going to let it grow. She'd had short hair for years, and having it a bit longer wouldn't hurt. Brushing it out, She walked over to the closet, digging through the clothes, wondering just what they would be doing this evening. Finn said that they should do something fun, and the more she thought about it, Ember wondered if the laser tag place was still open. With those thoughts in mind, she grabbed her old black and red skirt and her combat boots. Getting dressed, she noticed that either the skirt had gotten at least 5 inches shorter or she'd gotten taller. Scowling and looking around, she found a remedy for the situation with a pair of striped tights the same colors as her skirt. Once again, she looked in the mirror and nodded, feeling much better. It's not that the skirt was obscenely short, but when she'd gotten it, it was just above her knees. Now it was about mid-thigh, and honestly, the redhead didn't feel like showing that much skin. Already having on the t-shirt she wanted, one Finn had gotten for her more than a week ago, Ember grabbed her purse and walked out of the house, heading to Marshall's house. Okay, so what's the plan? I'm only like 10 minutes away, Finn asked as he drove along the highway on his way to the house. So I thought about it. Marcia's up for dinner and hangout, which is awesome. There's a laser tag place not far from the center of town. I figured we could go crazy and play a few rounds, boys versus girls, couple versus couple, friends versus siblings maybe. Then we could go have dinner and head back to Marcia's place. What do you think? That sounds amazing. Fiona's gonna go nuts in laser tag, Finn said with a grin, remembering their first ever time doing something hilariously weird and crazy back when their dad was hallucinating, only a mere 4 months ago. They'd all gotten so close since then. I'll bet. I'm gonna let you go now. I'm walking up the driveway. See you soon. Later, sweets, she said, hanging up and knocking on the door, watching as it opened moments later. Hey, Em, Marshall said, getting pulled into a hug. I'm glad to see you're feeling better, Marsh, because the four of us had big plans for tonight, Ember said, walking in the house and sitting on the arm of the couch. Where's Fiona? She's upstairs, getting out of her pajamas. And what amazing plans do we have for this evening? He asked, sitting down on the love seat and kicking his feet up on the table. Ember only smiled as she heard Fiona descending the stairs. Hey, Ember, what are the plans? Fiona asked as she pulled her hair up, only to pause looking at her friend's clothes. Oh, Glob, you look like you're ready to go into battle or something. Oh, I am. We're gonna go play some laser tag, she said, watching as the blonde before her began jumping in excitement. That's gonna be flippin' math. Yes, I can finally legally shoot people. Yeah, I thought you'd both like it, the redhead said as she shook her head. Finn's on his way. He should be here soon, too. Mere moments after she said that, a knock came on the door, and Fiona rushed over to answer it. We get to shoot people in the dark. I know, right? Is that a normal greeting between those two? Amber asked, looking at Marshall, who shrugged. Guess it is now, the black-haired teen said as he began tying his shoelaces. So, are we all ready? Finn asked, looking around. Definitely, Ember said, greeting him with a kiss. All right, everyone, let's go kick some butt. Together, the group walked over to Finn's truck, the girls squished in the middle and the boys on each end. Hey, Marsh, no offense, but I want to play one game with me and Finn on a team, Fiona said, looking over at Marshall. Fee, you want to shoot me? He asked, trying and succeeding to sound as heartbroken as possible. What? No, that's not it. Fee, I'm kidding, Marshall said with a laugh, earning a scowl from the blonde. I'll kick your butt, though, he said with a grin as Fiona now stared at him. You want to bet? The laser tag palace was a huge warehouse type building, lit with black lights, and it was 2 stories tall. The final battle of the evening was Fiona and Finn on the blue team versus Marshall and Ember on the red team. It was a brutal battle, and the only rules were that only couples could shoot each other. This was how Marshall and Fiona kept count in their bet. The score was 6-8 with the red team in the lead. Marshall ducked behind a barrier, with his eyes peeled as he looked around for Fiona on the lower level, glancing around a corner as he spotted Ember flashing her light at him and pointing to the upper level, and with a nod of thanks and a thumbs up, Marshall snuck up the stairs. Fiona watched, peering through the slats of the banister, as her brother snuck up on Ember, his white hat glowing brightly in the black-lit room. She chuckled to herself, watching as Finn fired, hitting his target as Ember screeched. Looks like she got hit, huh? Yeah. Oh, shit. The sound of the laser gun met her eyes as her signals lit up bright red. Marshall! She shouted after him, quickly taking chase and checking the scoreboard. It was 7-9, and Marshall's team was winning. Fiona would not be having this and quickly took up after him. Ember listened for the sound of familiar shoes as she crept around the lower level of the course. Her eyes were scanning for the familiar glowing of Finn's hat and spotted it as she would and spotted as it was moving near the far corner before stopping altogether. Quickly and silently she hurried over, creeping past barriers and around strategically placed barrels. Jumping over, she fired a blast, only to stare in shock. Finn's hat was sitting on top of one of the boxes, and he was nowhere to be seen. Immediately, her sensors lit up as she growled in defeat as her boyfriend ran, by snatching his hat off the boxes as he went. "That's cheating!" she shouted as he raced by her. "Nope, that was strategy, babe," he shouted back as the redhead raced after him. Fiona crept along the passageway, catching a glance of the scoreboard. The score was 8-9, with the red team in the lead. Peering around the corner, she spotted Marshall coming from the other end and ducking down, peering down the hall he'd just come from, before moving to hide behind one of the barrels as he scanned the room, not noticing Fiona as he did so. Slowly, she crept over carefully to avoid the purposely placed gravel and rocks, and getting an idea, she stooped low, picking up a rock and tossing it in the direction Marshall had come from. Quickly, he faced away from her, pointing the laser gun in the direction of the noise, giving Fiona time to sneak over and land a shot before laughing and sprinting away. Now they were tied, and the next point would bring victory. Spotting a section big enough for her to hide in, Fiona ducked down, throwing her last rock, watching as Marshall raced past her rounding the corner. Looking around, Fiona spotted bars on the wall and some above her connecting to the low ceiling, and as the idea formed itself in her head, the blonde smiled. After his shock from his sensors lighting up, Marshall quickly took chase after Fiona, running as quickly as he could. She, however, had the advantage of a head start. He raced past the second room, making his way into the third, crouching down, and hearing only silence. No footsteps, nothing. It was then he realized that she had more than likely hidden in the prior room and would be expecting him to immediately double back. Marshall instead took the long way, making his way through the other 3 rooms before entering the one he believed Fiona to be in. He was walking as quietly as he could, listening for any sound that would give the blonde away. Footsteps, breathing, anything. He looked around the barriers and the barrels, and was surprised to find no trace of her. I thought she'd be here," he said quietly to himself, as suddenly the lights in the warehouse went on, signaling the end of the game. "Gotcha!" Marshall turned in shock, realizing that it was his sensors lit up and could only stare. Fiona was hanging upside down on the monkey bars that were connected to the low ceiling, with a cheeky grin on her face. "What the hell planet are you from?" Hearing this, Fiona laughed. "Earth!" "That's a lie, but that was awesome," he said in awe. "Told you I'd kick your butt," Fiona said, dropping down from the bars, landing easily on her feet. "Dude, that was flippin' awesome!" Fiona could only grin as they made their way to the lower floor together, meeting up with Finn and Ember. "Seriously, though, if I was winning by 1,000,000,000 points, I'd give you the match for that shot. That was amazing," Marshall said seriously, earning the other two's attentions. "What did she do?" Ember asked as Fiona and Finn high-fived to their victory. "Just pretend I said that in Marshall's voice. She became a ninja and owned me, that's what she did," Marshall said firmly as Ember and Finn shared a look, before turning to Fiona, who was smiling smugly. "I shot him upside down on the monkey bars." "What? Are you kidding?" "No, she's not. I call dibs on Fee for life in this place. She owns," Marshall said, putting his gear back on the counter as Fiona did the same, Finn and Ember having already done so. "You know what? I think when you're all better, Marsh, we should go paintballing, all of us." "Yes! Sister, we have to be related. The answer to that question is an undeniable hell's yes." "I think it would be fun," Ember said with a nod to Fiona. "I'm up for it," Marshall said, looking around at the 3 of them as they began walking out of the building. "Awesome! Am I the only one hungry?" Ember asked as they once again piled into Finn's truck. "I am too," Finn said, earning nods from Fiona and Marshall. "What about burritos?" "Everything burritos?" Fiona said, looking at her brother. "Yeah, I could go for that," Ember said softly. "Chipotle?" Marshall suggested. "Heck yes!" Finn shouted as Fiona pointed them in the right direction. "Onward!" They had ordered in the small restaurant and quickly received their food, along with some chips, salsa, and guacamole. At Marshall's they feasted. "We so have to do that again," Fiona said excitedly as she took a bite of her burrito. "Yeah, we do. That was flippin' awesome," her brother agreed through a mouthful of food. Except the next time we have everyone, Jake and his girlfriend and the guys too, and it'll be me and Fee against all of you together, Marshall said, taking a sip of his drink. Hearing this, Fiona stared in shock. Are you serious? That's two against. Fiona paused a moment to count on her fingers. 7, that's a big difference. You do realize that in numbers we'll succeed, right? Emperor asked, taking a chip and dipping it in the salsa. Of course you won't. With those kinds of numbers, we have the upper hand. Plus, it would be a one-hit kill kind of match. Your numbers become an instant disadvantage, Marshall said, smothering a yawn. Seeing this, Finn checked the time. Damn, it's late. What's the time? Fiona asked, turning to look at the clock, only to stare in surprise. It was 11:43. Whoa, we left at 5:30ish. That took a really long time, she said with a laugh. Yeah, it did, but that was amazingly fun, Amber chipped in. Seeing how it's so late, I think we should be getting out of your guys' hair. What do you think, Finn? Yeah, he said, standing and collecting all of the trash and empty bags around the table and throwing them out before returning to take a sip from his drink. Let's get going, Em. All right, I know you guys have a doctor's appointment in the morning anyways, and I wouldn't want you to go missing that, she said, making her way over to where her boots were lacing them up again. We'll see you two later, Finn said, opening the door for Ember as she waved them goodbye. Night, guys, Marshall said with a wave. Drive safe, you two, Fiona called after them. Of course I'll drive safe. I got my license before Jake did. Finn grinned, closing the door behind them. I'm beat. I think I'll take a shower, okay, Marsh? Fiona asked as they made their way up the stairs. Sure, I'll be here. Marshall watched as Fiona dug around for clothes before heading back downstairs. Grabbing his own pajamas, he sat on the bed waiting and strumming away at his guitar, and what felt like only moments passed before Fiona returned showered and clean. Placing his guitar against the wall, Marshall headed down the stairs to get a shower of his own. Fiona looked around the room after brushing out her hair before spotting Marshall's guitar. Picking it up, she sat on the bed, holding it in her lap. She plucked a string, listening to the low humming sound fade slowly away before plucking another. Sitting and staring intently at the guitar in her lap, Fiona plucked out a little three-stringed melody. You're holding it wrong, Marshall said softly, watching as Fiona jumped, making the guitar send out an eerie-sounding jolt of noises. Immediately he felt bad for startling her. I'm sorry, I know I shouldn't have touched it. It's really all right, Fee, Marshall said, sitting behind her. Fiona blushed at how close they were. His legs were on the outside of hers, and his arms around hers. Marshall's head rested on her shoulder, and his chest was flat against her back. She smells like a mixture of vanilla and cinnamon. The thought made him smile. You're holding it like a sitar, he said softly, easily adjusting the instrument in her arms. This hand, he breathed, wrapping his left hand around hers, should be on the neck of the guitar with your thumb on the back, not on the strings. Slowly, Fiona felt her hand move to the right position. This arm goes around the front, and these fingers strum the strings, he murmured, moving her hand down, his fingers on top of her own as he slowly played a little melody. Marshall could feel her fingers slowly responding as he continued the little tune. Very slowly he lifted his hand from hers. Marsh, I can't, Fiona whined, turning to face him. Yes, you can. Keep doing it. I know you can. Go ahead, he whispered, sitting back and listening, as Fiona tentatively strummed the strings in the short little melody he showed her, before laughing. Marsh, I'm doing it, she exclaimed. I know you are, Marshall smiled, watching as Fiona slowly continued strumming his guitar. Eventually, the blonde grew even more tired than she was, and as she made to move, Marshall stood gently, lifting the guitar from her hands and putting it back on the stand and shutting the light off before making his way back onto the bed. Fiona scooted over, making room for him, but after he climbed in the bed, Marshall pulled her into his arms, holding her close. Fiona blinked slowly, her eyes adjusting to the darkness, until finally she could see the briefest outline of him in the pitch black. What's wrong, Marsh? The blonde heard him sigh in the darkness. I'm just thinking, always thinking, he said cryptically. About? Fiona asked quietly. Everything. Life. The future. You. Hearing this, Fiona blushed. What are you thinking about me for? I'm right here. You're always on my mind, Fiona, Marshall said simply, holding on to her tighter. Are you afraid that I would leave you, Marsh? Fiona asked seriously, listening to the long silence. That thought does cross my mind, he whispered, feeling as her hands gently moved along his neck and face, and finally her forehead rested against his. Never. I'll never leave you, Marshall, she whispered firmly. He could feel her breath against his lips. I love you, Fee. Sorry. I love you, Fee. I'm sorry I'm putting you through this. I love you too, Marsh, and don't you dare apologize for something out of your control. You'll be fine, so stop it. But Marshall? Fiona asked, quickly cutting him off. Yeah? He whispered, feeling as she smiled. Just shut up and kiss me, she murmured, pulling him closer, feeling as his lips pressed against hers. After what felt like forever, Marshall pulled back to breathe, and pulling Fiona tighter in his arms, he buried his face in her hair. Where would I be without you, Fiona? One donut fatter, she giggled, earning a smile from him. Just close your eyes, Marshall, and let your mind rest, Fiona whispered, feeling as slowly his breathing began to even out. Reaching up, she touched his face, feeling the wetness on his cheeks. Oh, Marshall, I'll never leave, I promise, Fiona sniffled, holding back her tears. I promise. Hey, I know I'm in different clothes this time, and that is because the camera cut out. Hang on. Ugh, ugh, the camera cut out halfway through. I know I haven't uploaded every single day this weekend, and I'm also not gonna upload tomorrow. My next upload is going to be on Tuesday, and it's gonna be like a mixture of a it's gonna be like a 3 to 4 hour upload. I'm planning like a really big long upload because like I've been having some like I had a stress breakdown on Friday, and then I just decided, well, I'm not gonna upload like every day if I don't want to, so I skipped, I think it was either Friday or Saturday that I skipped an upload, and then I either Friday or yesterday, and then I'm gonna be skipping an upload tomorrow. This is gonna go up. This is gonna go up today, but it's only gonna be one chapter because I did one chapter yesterday. Now I'm doing one chapter today. I think Friday was the day I missed an upload, but I did just post like a really long 2 hour upload. And when I post on Tuesday, it's going to be like a 3 to 4 hour upload. That's what I'm planning. So I have like a 1 terabyte hard drive so I can save stuff on my hard drive. Like I can edit the video and I can save it onto my hard drive if I need to, because I don't think I'm going to be able to save that long of an upload on my computer. So I'm just going to save it to my hard drive and then upload it from my hard drive to YouTube. I think that's going to be the best way to do it. But it's going to be like an extremely long upload. And yeah, it's going to be like a really long upload. So yeah, so I've uploaded one chapter yesterday. I'm gonna upload this chapter today. And like I said, the camera cut out partway through, so I had to finish the chapter today in different clothes and stuff, and I had to like yeah, so it's just been kind of an insane time, and I've been having a lot of stress issues. I've been having a lot of stress issues, but regardless of anything, I'm finished with this upload because this is just going to be a one chapter upload. But like I said, I just did like a 2 hour upload, a really, really long upload, because I was like, well, I'm going to be skipping for a few days. And I did a 2 hour upload anyway. And then I just put it all together and I posted it all together because it was like 2 hours that I did of recording. And so I posted a 2 hour upload, I'm pretty sure on Thursday. And then I skipped Friday and I'm going to be skipping Monday as well. And I kind of have this little thing going on that I'm doing today, and then that's gonna affect of me for a long time, and it's gonna affect like everything in my life. So, and it's like a good thing. It's not another, extremely stressful thing. I've just been so stressed out, like looking at apartments and thinking about moving it. Oh my god. I just like I'm so stressed out. And it's so frustrating. So, because I just did a 2 hour upload, I didn't feel like I needed to do super long uploads. So, I was just like, okay, one chapter at a time. If I feel like recording a chapter, and I did at the time, and I was going to make it a 2 chapter video, but then the one chapter cut out halfway through. So, I decided when I was going to re record it and then I decided, like, I did upload chapter 28 yesterday, so you guys have chapter 28 until I could get to the rest of chapter 29, which was today. So, anyway, I love each and every one of you guys. Please don't forget to always be yourself. You are valid, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye!